Everyone. So, welcome back to the audit class, and today we will be talking about the audit evidence. So, this comes under the collaborative audit evidence, like the subsequent procedures we have started now. So, what's the audit evidence? And under this topic, we will be discussing few things such as sufficient and appropriate audit evidence determined by RMM. So these two are the main topics we will be discussing under this head. So to start with audit evidence, as you can see in the screen, audit evidence comprises of sufficient and appropriate. So our evidence should be sufficient and appropriate in order to gain the comfort over the audit that we are doing. So, corroborative or contradictory audit evidence. The auditor must obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence by performing audit procedures to afford a reasonable basis for an opinion regarding the financial statements under audit. So this means that it is the responsibility of the auditor to obtain the sufficient and appropriate audit evidence. So whether sufficient appropriate audit evidence has been obtained is a matter of the professional judgment. So it can be identified through the professional judgment of the auditor that the audit evidence that we have received is sufficient and appropriate or not. Evaluating the information to be used as the audit evidence assist the auditor in making that condition. So, corroborative or contradictory audit evidence are the information used by the auditor in arriving at the conclusion on which the audit option is the best. So, at this stage, the auditor reaches to the conclusion on which the audit evidence is based, including the information in the accounting records underlying the financial statements and other informations. What are the other audit procedures and cumulative natures? We have been discussing this throughout our audit series, that risk assessment procedures, test of the controls, and substantive audit procedures. All this comprises our audit procedures, and the audit evidence is required in all the processes, all the steps. And to talk about the further audit procedures, test of the controls and substantive test comes under the further audit procedures. Besides audit procedures, auditor may also include the information from the other sources. What are the other sources which auditor can rely on? The previous audit firm's quality control procedure for the client acceptance and continuance. So these are some of the other procedures on which results auditor can rely on. Also, the audit evidence must corroborate or contradict management assertions regarding the financial statement. So, assertions we will be discussing in detail, but yeah, that should cover the management assertions. Reasonable basis for the opinion that should give the audit evidence must provide the auditor the reasonable basis of opinion. So audit evidence must persuade the auditors that the dollar, it means the transaction and the disclosure in the financial statement are fairly presented. However, the auditor is not providing the absolute assurance or guidance guarantee, because auditor's responsibility is only to provide the reasonable assurance and not the absolute assurance. In nearly all the cases, due to the cost benefit consideration, the auditor is not in the position to examine the 100% of the accounting data. Therefore, the auditor is only able to obtain the reasonable assurance, and the auditor usually relies on the evidence that is persuasive rather than the conclusive. Persuasiveness is the subject and relates to uniquely to each audit. Like that cannot be concluded for every audit, and that depends on the audit to audit, client to client. The nature, extent, timing of the audit procedures performed on the information to be used as the audit evidence influences the persuasiveness of the such information. Also, the cost benefit relationship may valid for the reason for performing only certain procedures. Cost alone is not the valid reason to omit the audit procedures. That may be one of the area, but that solely is not the area to give the conclusion on the audit evidence or the audit procedures that have been performed. Now, now further moving forward, we are seeing audit evidence must be sufficient and appropriate. So sufficient in the quantity and appropriate in the quality. So these two are the natures that audit evidence should be: sufficient in the quantity and appropriate in quality. This audit evidence consists of underlying accounting records and corroborating or contradictory evidence, forms of the audit evidence. Oral information obtained through the verbal response to the inquiry of the management or external information sources, such as oral inquiries made during the course of the audit. Visual information means obtained through the observation system or observed by the auditor using the remote observation, such as message that appears on the screen for the controlling or restricting the access to the IT system. Also, the paper documents which are obtained in the documentary format is one of the audit evidence. One of the example of paper document is original executed sales contract or a return confirmation. Electronic information, which includes documents obtained in electronic documentary form, such as a scanned version of the executed sales contract or an electronic confirmation. Data stored in the entity's IT system or obtained electronically from an information source. Such data may be manually input into the system or may be electronically generated. For example, electronic data interference between the entity and the service organization. This is one of the examples of it. Audit evidence includes the accounting records and the other informations. So accounting records means the records of the initial accounting entries and the supporting records such as invoice checking, contracts, journal entries. These are the accounting records, audit evidence. Other information are minutes of the meeting, confirmation from the third parties, analyst report, comparable data about the competitors, or control manuals. So these are other informations which can be used as the audit evidence. Auditor must use judgment to evaluate both sufficiency and appropriateness of the audit evidence. So auditor must use their professional judgment throughout the audit and even while they are using the audit evidence to corroborate the data to understand the comfort, to gain the comfort over the audit evidence. When using the information provided by the entity, auditor should evaluate whether the information is sufficiently reliable for the auditor's purpose, including the evaluating whether information is sufficiently precise and detailed. It should be detailed, and obtaining the audit evidence about the accuracy and the completeness of the information, like it should not be manipulated or it should not be falsified. So it should be genuine and complete. If entity uses a specialist for certain significant areas such as actuarial or fair value, auditor should evaluate the specialist competence and objectivity, obtain the understanding of the work of the specialist, and evaluate the appropriateness of the specialist work. So auditor can rely on the specialist report, but auditor should gain the comfort over the specialist competence over the results they have provided, like they are enough competent to provide the data or not. So their background and their competency should be properly evaluated. Whether when audit evidence obtained from the one source is inconsistent with the obtained from the another, the auditor should determine necessary modifications or additions to the audit procedures to resolve the matter. So in the case audit evidence is obtained from some other sources, and if the answers in both the audit evidence are not tying up, then auditor should use the professional skepticism and be more cautious in identifying the concluding result for that audit evidence. Auditor should consider the nature, extent, timing of the further audit procedures to judge if evidence is sufficient and appropriate. So sufficiency relates closely to the extent of the testing, whereas appropriateness relates closely to the nature and timing. So auditor should consider the nature, extent, and timing of the audit procedures. Now further we are discussing about the sufficiency. Sufficient. So sufficient is the measure of the quantity of the audit evidence. Sufficiency is tied up with the quantity quantity of the audit evidence, that the audit evidence we have obtained is sufficient or not. So it is based on the auditor's judgment. If auditor wants the evidence that is persuasive, they may consider the relationship between the cost of obtaining audit evidence and usefulness of the information obtained. Sufficiency and appropriateness of the audit evidence are interrelated and together affect the persuasiveness of the audit evidence. The quantity of audit evidence in and of itself is not solely determinative of its persuasiveness. Obtaining more the same type of audit evidence may not compensate for its lack of appropriateness. It should be kept in mind. If sufficiency is higher, the chances of detection risk is very lower. So quantity of evidence required is affected by the RMM. Higher the assessed RMM, the more audit evidence is likely to be required, and quality of evidence is the higher the quality, lesser may be required. So, however, obtaining more audit evidence may not be compensated for its poor quality. So, sufficiency is morely related to, as I said, sufficiency is more related to the quantity, like how much quantity its audit evidence is being used and everything. So it should be considered and it should be kept in the mind.